Hello and welcome to Gradient's weekly roundup of key business and financial developments in Sri Lanka for the week ending 13th May 2022. I'm Nishanipigera and here are the top stories for this week. IMF remains committed to assist Sri Lanka. Central Bank governor to quit if political stability is not ensured. $100 million from AIIB to support state banks. Over 100,000 Sri Lankans seek foreign employment in 2022. We will also briefly look at other notable news that made it across to our news desk and wrap up with a capital markets update. In our main story this week, during a week in which unrest was seen across the country, culminating in the resignation of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, the IMF stated that technical level discussions with Sri Lanka had just started and that talks will continue so as to be fully prepared for policy discussions once a new government is formed. The IMF Sri Lanka Mission Chief Masahiro Nozaki commented that the lending agency is closely following the country's developments and is concerned about rising social tensions and violence, however adding that the IMF remains committed to assist Sri Lanka in line with its policies. On Wednesday, Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe stated that he would step down from his post unless political stability is ensured in the next 2 weeks. Speaking to reporters, he warned that without a political solution to the current crisis, the central bank's steps to revive the economy would not be successful. He added that in order to address fiscal issues and advance talks with the IMF beyond technical level negotiations, a functioning executive, a robust cabinet and a progressive parliament is required. Sri Lanka is set to receive $100 million from the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank. According to the Ministry of Finance, such funds are sought to support forex liquidity of the country's state banks. State banks are experiencing challenges to provide dollar loans to institutions such as the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. Moreover, the Bangladesh Bank extended the loan repayment tenor by 1 year on the $200 million credit facility granted to Sri Lanka. Granted in August 2021, settlements were due in 3 tranches: August, October and November this year. A gazette was issued banning the import of goods under credit through a mechanism called open account payment. Effective from 20th May, importers should obtain an endorsement on the invoice from their licensed bank stating that the importer has foreign currency in their business or offshore foreign currency account to settle payment. Subsequently, the invoice is to be submitted to the customs at the time of clearance. A senior customs official speaking to the Sunday Times newspaper stated that such a move came after it was revealed that most open account transactions are being settled via illegal channels such as Undial and Havala, which are outside the country's banking system. According to the Association of Licensed Foreign Employment Agencies, over 100,000 Sri Lankans have departed for foreign employment during January 1st to 8th April 2022. In a few months, this figure is likely to surpass the almost 122,000 departures recorded in 2021. It noted that demand, particularly from the Middle Eastern countries, is high and supply from Sri Lanka is growing, given that more people are looking to migrate due to the country's current conditions. The share of professional, mid-level, clerical and related skilled and semi-skilled employment categories had increased over the unskilled and housemaid categories, as the imposition of the family background report is to have resulted in the reduction of these segments. According to the near-term macroeconomic projections published by the central bank, Sri Lanka's annual average inflation would settle at 22% by the end of 2022. This comes as inflation in April, as measured by the Colombo Consumer Price Index, recorded its highest ever level of 29.8%, with food inflation rising to a staggering 46.6% year-on-year. The central bank will announce a daily trading ban for the rupee-dollar exchange rate based on the previous day's price and a plus or minus margin. As per the governor, this is to prevent high off-market premiums being charged from importers by exporters and to stabilize volatility. The rupee continued to depreciate during the week. Moving on to the market update. Sri Lanka's Colombo Stock Exchange was closed for a second consecutive day and amid curfew. The CSE cited closure of banks as a reason for shutting down the market. And here's how the all-share price index and the S&P SL20 index performed during the week. In other market news, Sunshine Healthcare Lanka Limited, a subsidiary of Sunshine Holdings plc, withdrew its bid to acquire Himsons International by mutual agreement. In March, Sunshine Healthcare entered into a share sale and purchase agreement to acquire 60% ownership stake in Himsons International for 228 million rupees, with the balance to be taken over on the 31st of March 2024. And that's a wrap for this week. Follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube for more updates on business and financial developments in Sri Lanka. Until we see you again next week, thank you for watching. Stay safe.